Call.
We are unmuted.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the disability meeting for June 2023. Please make your introductions to the record.
Stephanie Zimberg, representing Commissioner Phillips.
John Dorsett, designee for control, Brad Lander.
Brian Berge, representing Mayor Eric Adams.
Phil Dukes, representing Finance Commissioner Preston Nyblack.
Damian Law, alternate for Preston Nyblack.
Joe Alejandro, PBA.
Chris McGrath, PBA by invitation.
Arthur Regner, PBA.
Mark Marino, PBA by invitation.
Nicole Jambrisi, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the fund.
Anthony Borelli, SBA.
Jeffrey Ward, DEA.
Nick Safuni as counsel for an invitation by CEA, LBA, DEA, and SBA.
Lou Turco, LBA.
Johnny Ramirez, CEA.
Nick Massey, DEA by invitation.
Mark Tiskevich, Office of the Actuary by invitation.
Andy Mr. Miller, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Copy.
Sansky State Pension Fund, present by invitation. Wait, do I have an extra copy? Kevin Holleran, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
Wichita State Medical Division, present by invitation.
Just a roll there.
John Flynn, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Stanley Thomas, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Vincent Diaz, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Maria Lambros, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Danny Almonte, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the fund.
Angelo Petrolini, Pension Fund by invitation.
Lisa Garcia, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Ready?
Law Department, the Law Department.
Law Department online.
Sorry. Law Department?
Yes, Marta Ross, Law Department, present by invitation of the Mayor's Office.
Aaron Trotter, Law Department, present by invitation of the Mayor's Office.
Okay.
Okay, so on to the agenda. Page 1, to accept the minutes of the previous meeting, Wednesday, April 12, 2023. I'd like to table that to the next, to the investment meeting on June 20th.
So noted, Joe.
To accept the minutes of the previous meeting, Wednesday, May 10th, 2023, and to confirm the next meeting date, Wednesday, July 10th, 2023.
When is the next meeting?
20th?
20th or the 10th? Yeah. But the 10th, 20th is a Thursday.
Yeah, that's the next.
Well, I had Wednesday,
20th.
20th, so I'm just trying to figure out what.
What's on there?
Yeah, June 20th.
July 10th.
June 20th is investment.
Yeah, June 20th is the investment meeting, that's next week. July 20th.
We agreed to because of vacation schedules.
But July 20th is a Thursday.
Yes, Thursday, not a Wednesday.
So, it's July 19th.
Okay.
Is that it?
No,
that's not good.
Alvin's got her hands up.
Which one are we doing?
Hold on, let's try to figure it out.
The investment meeting is July 27th. Okay?
Right.
We established that. Okay. We're gonna figure this out.
Angelo said it's a typo. That's supposed to be Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
20th.
Thursday, July 20th.
All right, Thursday the 20th.
So, forgive me, it's Thursday, July 20th, 2023, will be the next meeting date. Okay? That's a so move. Now, Article 2, pages 2 through 15.
So pages 2 through 15, nothing of a controversial nature.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Pages 16 through 18, a resolution regarding medical board legislation. Yeah, I'd like to table that. Maybe someone else's problem, that's fine. Okay, page 19. Resolution, extension of effective period of insurance for New York City Police Group Life Insurance Plan for pension fund members. Bobby?
All right, that's our usual, extension of the, group life. Going to, 2024, I don't have.
Okay.
In particular to read off, however. Let's see. Here it is, I'm sorry. Okay, because I know you're all riveted to hear this, but, Rule 31, effective period of insurance. Each qualified member of the pension fund is to be insured as provided herein, from May 8, 1970, its inception, through June 30th, 2024, and during such effective periods, this insurance coverage shall constitute a contractual relationship, the benefits of which shall not be diminished or impaired. The Board of Trustees of the pension fund may, from time to time, extend the effective period of insurance by appropriate amendment to these rules and regulations. So, do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, LBA, second.
DEA.
All right,
So moved.
okay.
Okay, next, page 20, resolution, regarding controller as custodian of funds. John?
This is the same resolution that we've introduced for, well, several years, I think we could say, and not dissimilar to the first one you approved over 20 years ago, Joe. We are
With some modifications.
with some modification through the years, but this one will be expiring in September, September 30th, I believe.
And there is no change to modification.
There's no change in modification other than the date, so we would respectfully ask for a vote.
So given that representation by the controller's representative, I make a motion that we accept the resolution through September 30th, 2023.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, and thank you for your continued support of the control.
Okay, now my favorite subject. BAM corpus funding fiscal year 23 second quarter billing, pages 21 through 63. Stanley?
Hi, everyone. So, we reviewed it. We made, 2 adjustments. There were 2 expenses related to NICERs and features that did not relate to us. So we reached out to the controls team. They made that adjustment, and what you see in your package is the revised amount. We're comfortable with this now. We've edited all the expenses out of it.
Oh, you know, travel expenses, oh no. All right, so given Stanley's, representation, I'd like to make a motion to, accept the, second quarter billing, for BAM.
I'll second it.
Okay?
Thank you for your continued financial support of the operations of the Bureau of Asset Management.
As long as our friends at BAM know that could end one day.
So noted, Joe.
So noted. Okay, pages 64 through 72, resolution regarding fiscal year 2024 proposed administrative budget and the proposed COPS budget, fiscal year 2024.
Joe, if I may. So, these 2 budgets have been the subject of very extensive conversation, 2 meetings, a back and forth with OMB. I'd like to thank everyone at PPF for their engagement on this subject, for your patience on this subject as well. I particularly like to thank Stanley and John Flynn, who I've talked with quite a bit on these subjects. You know, corpus budget has an unusual structure, requires a mayoral and comptroller concurrence. I would think in recognition of the fact that the budget is reimbursed dollar for dollar on a lag by a pension contribution. So we've looked very closely at this, and I think we're in a position right now to approve as written the COPS project budget. And I'd like to discuss a few items of the proposed administrative budget for the board's satisfaction. So the proposed administrative budget on the PS side contained a request for, I believe it was 6 total heads. 1 on Stanley's side of the operation, which is an accountant head. The mayor's office is comfortable with that accountant head in light of the additional functions that PPF has had to take on from the comptroller, and in light of the need to make sure that PPF can be compliant with Comptroller Directive 1 and segregation of appropriate accounting functions. On the John Flynn side of the operation, let's say, a very thorough presentation was put forward by John and team about the desirability of bringing in-house many functions that I think everyone appreciates are essential to the operation of PPF that are currently performed by consultants. We had asked John to demonstrate how these heads could result in consultant savings over time, and John did a very good job on very short notice to the best visibility in doing that. We are not calling into question the work that John did or the desirability in the abstract of that plan. Unfortunately, we're at a time where really every other city agency isn't even really in a position to propose what they would like to see in terms of additional heads. And of course, PPF is corpus funded, but the fiscal climate is what it is, regardless of whether you're funding it direct or indirect in the city budget. So at this time, in light of the very good work that John did, demonstrating that there can be immediate, albeit modest, savings achieved by some portion of this project, we are prepared to approve a network engineer head among those 5 and a firewall administrator head among those proposed 5. But at this time, we are not comfortable proceeding with the entire package of 5 heads. I think we're looking for kind of proof of concept that this in-house, in-sourcing, you might call it, is going to have the desired effects on contractor expenditures. On the OTPS side of the budget, we're comfortable with everything there, except as Stanley knows, as a result of our last meeting, we are not comfortable at this time with a proposed expenditure for, I might need your help on this, enterprise software, I believe is what it's called. There was a proposed expenditure for such software. We have asked Stanley to do an evaluation of what alternatives might exist in that marketplace to see what can be done in a way that won't hit the $1 million estimate that exists right now for those. And, Stanley, that's your timeline. You don't need to rush it. We want you to feel like you've really assessed the marketplace fully. And so I think otherwise, we're comfortable with the OTPS budget. Appreciate all the substantiation, all the documentation that went into that. And I open up the floor for discussion from any other trustees on this subject. Or if anything needs clarification, Kevin, John, Stanley, let me know.
So, Brian, let me ask you something. So, with regards to the enterprise software, are you asking Stanley to do a further dive into the market for that, which would probably necessitate an RFP? Is that what you're asking for?
So I'm not a procurement expert, Joe. I don't know that it would necessitate an RFP. I think there are probably ways short of a formal RFP that would allow Stanley to get a complete sense of the market. I mean, he was, after all, able to get a sense of the cost of his preferred option. So I make no representation on what might be required for that.
Stanley, would that require, necessitate an RFP or no? Well, or you have other ways to do it? Yeah. And not go through a full RFP?
Yeah, so ideally from our meetings, the request was to do a cost analysis with other software that's on the market. So I could have informational meetings with vendors. We did have preliminary research with a lot of those vendors already when we were doing our initial research for this. So I think it's possible for us to reach out to those vendors again and see, but we have our agency chief contracting officer, obviously I'll take her guidance on what the best approach is.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that would necessitate an RFP.
That makes two of us, Joe.
So I think I'll just chime in, as I think everyone at the table knows, the statute requires that both the mayor and the comptroller have to agree to the budget, along with the board for it to pass. While we appreciate all the work that's done at the city side and at the fund, we're optimistic that the fund can do more with less. However, we welcome any additional conversations that we could have with our colleagues in the mayor's office to ensure that the approval today is adequate, and if it needs to be adjusted in the future, we are certainly open-minded. And we just want to say that we deal with many of the city's budgets, obviously, being on many boards, and we appreciate the thoughtfulness and the prudence that you took, Stanley, you and your team, and Kevin, to put this together. And I just want to say I thought it was a thoughtful budget given the city's current financial state. Even though this is corporate funded, we are concerned about always making sure that we're not inadvertently diverting resources to places where they can also be used. So I appreciate the care in which you put this together. I think it's an appropriate budget. I know we could always give you more because you could always use more, but I think that this is an appropriate budget to get us moving in the right direction. And I would encourage you to look into ways to look at the enterprise risk, the enterprise system. And if you feel that the resources are inadequate to accomplish the goals of the organization, I think it's incumbent on you to come back to the board and ask for additional resources and have those discussions with OMB and the control's office and the mayor's office sooner rather than later. But we're supportive of the efforts of the mayor's office to look at this as well as the rest of the board. And I just want to say, on a side note, the relationship in discussing this between the mayor's office and the control's office for this particular budget was much more collaborative effort than it has been in the past. And I just want to say I appreciate that from the mayor's side. I think that ultimately it leads to a better product here and more fruitful conversation.
So, John,
Yes, Joe.
just a further question then. Are you in agreement with the mayor's office regarding the proposed COPS budget? You're okay with that?
Yes,
And you have questions, you still would like some answers on the administrative budget. So can we bifurcate the resolution to that which pertains to the COPS budget? It seems to be, will be approved, and the administrative budget, and it's not approved yet.
Well, Joe, I apologize. So I think what we're going to do is quickly take out what we need to take out to reflect the budget that's been approved so far by the mayor and the controller, and bring it back today. So we do have a client session that we can.
Can we say this on the record then, that all parties agree to the fiscal year 2024 COPS budget at this point?
Yes, yes. And Joe, I mean, part of the reason we're having this conversation is I've really been trying hard to.
No, I'm not, by the way.
I know what they're in a position to have an admin budget.
I accept that, and I just want to make sure that which we can pass, let's pass it.
Absolutely.
And then let's deal with the part that we need further questions on. So why don't we all say as a motion that with regard to the fiscal year 2024 proposed COPS budget, I make a motion, and then we can so move that portion. And as far as the proposed 2024 administrative budget, there's still some further questions we may or may not be answered today.
No, Joe, I think what we're going to do, Brian, is we're going to adjust the budget to reflect that the certain portions are not approved until later on, maybe next fiscal year.
Oh, so you just want to take out that which they have questions on the administrative and just do a new resolution with administrative and COPS. So if you could do that before the meeting ends, that'll be fine.
Caucus.
So let's do them both together?
You could take a caucus right now. Stanley can adjust the resolution, and then we can come back into the public.
So can I ask a question? We have can I make a suggestion? We have the 5-minute caucus. Can we?
That's why I suggested taking a caucus.
Yeah, take a 5-minute caucus. Stanley will address it.
Yeah.
So we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
You can do that in 5 minutes?
I can make it happen.
All right, so the PTA would like a 5-minute caucus to allow some revision of materials before the board.
Yeah.
Okay, just before we move on to that caucus, I just want to just express my thanks for acknowledging the hard work that my staff does. I have a tremendous staff. They work really hard to get things done. I know you recognize it. I've heard it before, but you appreciate it. I'm proud of them. I think they operate quickly, efficiently, and honestly, and we always get things back as quickly as possible, and I appreciate
And he's showing us right now, 5 minutes.
Perfect.
John told
I
me,
would have
I want
expected
to call you a
but,
team, man.
you know.
So we are officially on a 5-minute call.
And I also appreciate the professional
77.
There's a lot of rage in that guy.
He seems jolly, he seems happy,
Yeah.
but I tell you, get him on the wrong day,
You should
boy.
see him when he does the hard to do, he breaks pencils in there.
Hold on. We might
One day
be
the
picking this all up.
That's okay.
Does it say it?
It's only good for Stanley's reputation.
We all know our role.
200 and something million miles away.
We're connected.
Smart, doing that next year.
And it's about,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be on that. Imagine being 900 million miles away from home.
Having to look at your.
Well, let me tell you, here's the fire miles. On a hot day, you think we're too close to the sun, and we're only 93 million miles.
Just so everyone knows we're not muted.
Okay, well, we're talking about astronomical issues here.
I didn't hear it.
Looking astronomy.
Okay, Joe, back on the record?
Back on the record. Okay, so there was a final issue that we were dealing with in public, resolution regarding the proposed 2024 fiscal year administrative budget and proposed COPS project budget. Stanley?
Morning, everyone. So just wanted to recap the resolution. It has been revised based on the conversation the board had today. So the current headcount for the agency was 149, with the proposed budget that has been discussed with the trustees and OMB. The resolution would state, the authorized headcount for the agency will be 152. And now I'll read off the monetary amounts for the administrative and the COPS 2.0 project. So resolved, the Board of Trustees of the New York City Police Pension Fund shall adopt the budget consisting administrative budget for fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $28,480,361, and the budget for fiscal year 24 for the COPS 2.0 project for $10,886,334. And the total amount for both budgets combined will be $39,366,700.
Yeah. So, accepting, the revised figures and assuming, because I haven't been able to check them myself, that they reflect everything we discussed today, I'd like to make a motion to approve, both those items.
So in order to fulfill the administrative code, I will second that from the controls office.
And after the meeting, I will share updated packages and updated resolution with the entire board.
We're not done yet. Still has to be approved by the board, although they need to be on the winning side. The winning side is not just made out of those two votes.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay, so all in favor?
aye.
Okay, any objections? Okay, thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Just quickly before we adjourn
Fight the
public,
ball, boys.
the board took a litigation action. An action was taken. Details will be made public at the appropriate time.
So with that, I'd like to make a motion to exit public session and enter executive session.
Second.
Okay. So we are now in,
No, we are not yet.
not yet? So